Hello students, today we're going to be talking about point slope formula. Please make sure you take notes as you go and complete the survey that follows this video. So there are two important formulas that we need to know in order to complete this. The first one is the slope formula. It represents the relationship between our y and our x value as a ratio. However, we write it as a fraction. So in order to find the slope from 2 points, we subtract the y values and we subtract the x values and create the ratio as a fraction. So we do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Please make sure you're writing this specific formula down into your notebooks. The second we have is the point slope formula. It's written as y minus y1 equals then m times x minus x1. So as you see here, we need a y value and x value, and we also need to calculate our slope in order to complete these problems. So let's take a look at an example. If we have this one here, we've got ourselves 2 points. What we want to do is find the slope of these 2 points. So we're going to utilize our slope formula. So the first one, we're going to call the point x1, y1, and the second one will be known as x2, y2. Remember, every point is made up of an x and a y. So the first set of points will be 1, the second set of points will be 2. It does not matter which one you identify as x1, y1, x2, y2, just as long as you're consistent. So to find the slope, again, we use the letter m to represent slope. We're going to subtract our y's, so y2 minus y1. In this problem, the value of y2 is negative 1, and the y1 is 6. So we're going to take negative 1 and subtract off 6. We're going to repeat the same process on the bottom, but with our x values. Since we use the negative 1 here for y2, and that went first, we have to do that with the 4 from the same exact coordinate. So we're going to do 4 minus, and then in parentheses, we're going to put the negative 3. Make sure you're including all the negatives that are appropriate. So up top, when we complete this, negative 1 minus 6, if we were to evaluate that, is negative 7. On the bottom, 4 minus negative 3, remember we have ourselves a double negative, that's the same thing as doing 4 plus 3. So on the bottom, we have positive 7. Negative 7 over 7 can be simplified to negative 1. So in order to complete the problems in the future, we have to have a good understanding of how to calculate our slope. We're going to be using this again in our next example. So in our next example, we're actually going to find the slope and then write it in point slope form. So once again, I'm going to identify x1, y1 as our first point, and I'm going to use x2, y2 as our second point. And whenever we're doing this problem, that is the first thing we need to do. So first I'm going to find slope. I'm going to take my y values, and again, I'm going to subtract them. So once again, it's y2 minus y1. So we're taking the 8 and subtracting off the 5. And then on the bottom is the x values. So we're doing x2 minus x1, so we're going to take the negative 1 and subtract 2. At the top, 8 minus 5 is 3. On the bottom, negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So to simplify this, 3 over negative 3, this simplifies to a negative 1. So now we have our slope. We're going to now substitute some values into our point slope formula. So remember the formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So when we do these problems, the only thing that we're going to actually substitute in here is the y1, m, and x1. And we're going to choose one of the points to be y1 and x1. Let's just be consistent and use the one that we've already identified as x1, y1. So we're going to start substituting our values in. So it'll be y minus y1, and in this problem is the value of 5. So we have y minus 5 equals, and then our next value here is m, which we calculated to be negative 1. Then again in parentheses, x minus x1, and then in this problem here we identified x1 as being 2. So this is the equation of a line using the point slope form. Now we can always take our point slope form and rewrite it from this way into slope intercept form. So remember, slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So our goal here is to get the y by itself. So what we need to do first is distribute through with the negative 1. So we have y minus 5 equals negative 1 times x, so it's essentially doing negative 1 times 1. We get negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 2. 2 negatives make a positive 2. And since we're trying to get the y by itself, we have to move the negative 5 to the right-hand side. When we go to the opposite side, we use opposite signs. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So my final equation is y equals negative 1x plus 7. So this is taking an equation from point slope form into slope intercept form. If you have any questions, either enter them into the survey that follows. Please make sure you complete the survey that follows the video. I'll see you tomorrow.